Joining us now is Bill Schafer. Bill Schafer is running for Congress. He's running a grassroots campaign, and he's the son of a soldier in a tough district there in Iowa, but we're going to get Bill on and get all the ins and outs of it and see, does he have a shot to win? You never know. Anyway, he's joining us now, Bill Schafer. Hey, Bill, good to have you with us, man.
Good morning, John. I sure appreciate this opportunity. I want to thank you and your audience for allowing me to speak to you this morning.
Sure, Bill. Hey, just before we get into your issues, and I know you've got a lot of them, we're going to get into that, Bill, but tell us a little bit about the district you're running in and why you think you have a chance to win, and a little bit about your incumbent Democrat opponent, why you think you can beat him.
Well, sir, let me start by saying that I'm a conservative Republican, and I am, in fact, running for Congress in Iowa District 3. I appreciate your reference to the grassroots, because I'm certainly that. Name recognition being a huge issue for me. The decision to run was my decision with my wife just a few months ago, based on moving away from the coffee table and getting after problem solving. I want to serve the great people of Iowa District 3 and the great people of this country. In addition, I think there's an opportunity to get to Congress and support President Trump, as well as the conservative Republicans that are in Congress. And I'm going to do this based on a desire to preserve our federal republic. This is not a democracy, it's a federal republic, and I'm going to do that based on a constitutional platform. So when I get through the primary, I'll be facing Congresswoman Cindy Axne, and I'm confident that I can provide a challenge to her and end up in the Congress in representation of Iowa. Because if you look at the issues and her positions are, they're liberal values. She's voted against the president in every opportunity, and I'm confident that as I describe to the Iowa people the conservative values that are my basis and the conservative values that I will take on their behalf to the Congress, they will see a stark contrast. And I got to believe that Iowa is still a conservative-minded place.
Well, to
in
give
addition,
everybody...
I have got 35 years of experience in solving complex problems, as well as analyzing, writing, and executing policy at senior levels through my career in the Army. And as I stated, I will support the president, and I will support the conservatives that are already in our Congress.
Well, Bill, this is a seat that the Republicans are targeting that they could definitely win, and this was held by a Republican since 2012, Tom Latham, and then David Young for 2 terms. Young had it for 2 terms, and then Cindy Axne won it. She's the incumbent now, Democrat, in the wave in 2018. She won it by 2 percentage points, but if you go back to 2016, in the presidential election in your district, Trump carried the district from 48% to 45%. So it's a district that Trump won. Cindy Axne, the Democrat, wins it in 2018. So she wins by 2%. So basically, with Trump on the ballot in 2020, this is a very likely Republican flip back. How many Republican candidates are vying for this nomination? How many are on the primary ballot, Bill, along with you?
Currently, former Congressman David Young has announced his run, and I have announced my run. There is a third candidate, a state senator, who is on a listening tour and is analyzing whether or not he's going to announce a run. So I suspect there'll be 3 candidates right now.
So, and David Young, he was defeated by Cindy Axne in 2018, right?
That's correct.
All right. So he got beat by Axne. He wants to run again. And, of course, if there's a third candidate gets in, Young, you would expect, is going to be the establishment candidate. He's been there for 2 terms. If a third candidate gets in, then the anti-Young vote becomes split, and your opportunity to win goes down dramatically. Have you talked to the other candidate and told them that basically if there's 2 people facing off against David Young, he's probably going to win, because that's normally the reality of what happens here?
I haven't at this point, but I do intend to do that. Kind of new to the process, and I'm working through my scheduling and trying to get events. This great opportunity is one of them. But I do intend to have a discussion with him, and we'll be reaching out to him. As well as David Young, I'll reach out to him as well.
Well, he's been there 2 terms, and if you go back and look at this in 2014, Young won by 52% to 24%. That was in the GOP, had a pretty strong wave then. That was in Obama's final 2 years. And then in 2016, with Trump on the ballot, Young won by 53 to 40. He's not going to drop out. So then the question becomes, why Bill Schafer? Why not David Young? He's already been there. What's the key differences between Bill Schafer and David Young? Why should Republicans in Iowa's 3rd district vote for Bill Schafer and not for David Young?
So, I think you already mentioned one of the main reasons, and that is David Young. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I look forward to talking to him. But he is an establishment type Republican, and he lost the last election. So, if you look at our values, he'll have a voting record. I won't. I'll have to prove my case, but I will get around this district and prove it. And I'm confident that my grassroots values, my conservative values, my defense of the Constitution, that match my demonstrated performance over a 32-year uniformed service career will resonate with the Iowans of District 3, and they will see that difference in the primary and carry me into the general to represent them in Congress.
Ideologically, and as far as President Trump's America First agenda, what are the biggest differences between Bill Schafer and Dave Young?
Well, I'm not sure if Dave Young is a staunch President Trump supporter like I will be, and I do believe very much in the president's America First agenda. I think that many of the things that he's doing resonate very well with the people of Iowa. And again, I'm just confident that the people of Iowa will be looking for a candidate that will represent them, that will serve their interests, not necessarily serve the interests of themselves.
Well, you're certainly the outsider, no question about that. And you are right, Dave Young did lose the last time. Let's talk about Bill Schafer. Tell us a little bit about your background, Bill, and why you think you're qualified to run for Congress. When people are looking at making a decision and they think of Bill Schafer, what do you want them to think of?
Well, talking specifically to my fellow Iowans of District 3, I want them to understand that I spent a life, as well as everyone in your audience, my life, I'm a soldier for life. My father is a soldier. I spent my years growing up moving around the country. I spent 32 years in service, actually, 30 years on active duty, moving around the country, moving around the world. And if you look at the experiences of that career as an infantry officer, commanding at every level, commanding in combat twice, at the company level and at the battalion level, and then also serving at the senior levels, 3- and 4-star headquarters and in the Pentagon. The policy work that I've done, the complex problems that I've had an opportunity to work on, break down, complex problems that require long-term solutions. A vision that can see where the end state is, break the problem into pieces, and then provide solutions to each of these pieces that at the right point brings it all together with the best solution for a large group of people, not individuals or not small groups of people. And I point out the Iowans of District 3 specifically because I would like them to realize the sincerity with which I say I arrived in Iowa as a soldier in 2011, spent 3 years in service here. My wife and I fell in love with Iowa and Iowans, the conservative nature, just the goodness of these people. And we chose to become Iowans, and we chose to retire to Iowa and live here the rest of our lives. Very disappointing, though, to see Iowa lose two Democratic seats to two Republican seats to Democrats in the last election.
I know,
and I think I'm capable, and I'm in a position where I can run. So I resigned from a civilian federal job in order to run for this office and deliver those values to Iowa and to our country.
I like it. We're with Bill Schafer running for Congress, Iowa's 3rd District. He's going to have to get through a primary there. Dave Young has already announced he was the former congressman there. But to Bill's point, look, he lost, so let's get somebody else. Let's try something else. Plus, is he a Trump supporter? No one knows. But we do know that Bill is, and that Bill, if he's elected to Congress, Bill Schafer is going to absolutely be all over supporting the president's agenda. Bill Schafer, you can go to your website, and you can give that in a minute. But first, Bill, let's talk about your immigration solution, your immigration policy. There's a crisis at the border. What does Bill Schafer think should get done at the border?
Wow, that's a great topic, and of course a very complex one. And the first thing I'm going to say is the problem at the border isn't immigration. It's an illegal entry. It's an invasion. It's many words, but it's not immigration. Immigration, of course, implies people that are trying to move and assimilate, become part of a new culture as they bring their culture to help enrich that nation. And I'm all about immigration. I concur with the president on standards of entry, welcoming cultures, welcoming people from around the world who enter our country legally in terms of why they want to enter and the merit-based kind of things that would provide us a positive influx of legal immigration. But the border security issue, that's really a national security level issue, and it requires looking at many complex pieces of it, not the least of which would be putting the border wall up, resourcing our agents on the border so that they have the surveillance and the equipment that they need to enforce the border security, enforce our laws as a sovereign nation. Then it would also require looking at the enforcement of the laws and the resources that businesses need to make sure that they're not hiring illegals, and if they are hiring illegals, that we do something about it. And once all that is done, then there's room for debate on what we do with the current population of illegal folks that are in the country and how we deal with them in a dignified manner, treat them with dignity and respect, and create a logical solution as to what we do with them. But there's no use debating who is already here when the border remains a porous opportunity for folks to walk across whenever they want.
All right, Bill, obviously, if you get elected, you're going to have a tough battle, but you got to get through the primary. If people want more information on your campaign and how they might get involved, Bill, where do they go?
Well, our website is schaferforcongress.com. My last name is spelled Schafer, schaferforcongress.com. And, of course, there's an email attached to that for folks to provide me questions or comments.
Mm-hmm. And, Bill, people who want to make a donation to your campaign, they can do it right through your website, right?
That's correct.
All right, because, look, you're going to be facing very well-funded opponents, whether it's in the primary or the general, so you're going to have to raise some money. This is going to be a key state. It'll be a targeted state for the Republicans. In one of the states, there's 39 seats that the Democrats won that Trump won in 2016. I think you guys got a shot to run the table and win them all and seize control of Congress back. We'll see what happens. Bill, I'm out of time. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, thanks for getting in the race, man. Thanks for working hard. Thanks for carrying the president's message. Good luck in the future. We'll definitely have you back.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for being with us.